Hello everyone and welcome to our Good Friday video for our Holy Week box activity. I hope you've been enjoying these videos so far. We started with Palm Sunday where we talked about Jesus' entry into Jerusalem and how important of a day that was. And Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday we talked a lot about money and ways that we can give to God, money or otherwise, ways that we give to God to bring God's love to the earth, to show the world how much God loves us and how much God loves them and all of the above, right? So yesterday was Maundy Thursday, and hopefully you were able to have a special meal with your family, but we talked about the special meal that Jesus had with his disciples to remind them that he was always going to be with them, because on Good Friday, something very special happens after this special meal. Okay, so what you need before we get started is you need a pipe cleaner or something that you can make into a cross. We're going to turn this into a cross. And you're also going to need a piece of cloth and your Jesus doll, whatever that looks like for you. I only had pink cloth available, so that's what I'm going to use. But as we get started here, let's begin by reading the story that comes after Maundy Thursday, after this last meal that Jesus has with his disciples. Let's read the story from the Gospel of Mark chapter 15. Early the next morning, the chief priests, the nation's leaders, and the teachers of the law of Moses met together with the whole council. They tied up Jesus and they led him off to Pilate. So Jesus is tied up and he's led off to Pilate. Now, Pilate wanted to please the crowd, so he set Barabbas free. Then he ordered his soldiers to beat Jesus with a whip and nail him to a cross. That sounds very painful, very, very painful. The soldiers took Jesus to Golgotha, which means place of the skull. There they gave him some wine mixed with a drug to ease the pain, but he refused to drink it. They nailed him to a cross and gambled to see who would get his clothes. It was about 9 o'clock in the morning when they nailed him to the cross. And this comes later in the story. Jesus shouts, and then he dies. A Roman army officer was standing in front of Jesus. When the officer saw how Jesus died, he said, "This man really was the Son of God." He really was. So there's more to that story. That's kind of the shortened version. But the religious leaders, there were people in Jesus' time that wanted to get rid of Jesus. They told all sorts of lies about him, and Jesus gets arrested. It was a really sad day because the authorities put Jesus to death on a cross. That's why we have crosses in our church. That's why we wear crosses around our neck. The cross has become a symbol of Jesus' love for us, of the things that Jesus went through to show us and how much God loves us, to show us forgiveness, to give us forgiveness. So I want you to take your pipe cleaner or whatever you're using. Maybe you only have stuff to draw a cross on a piece of paper, cut it out, but we're gonna make our cross like this. We're gonna take our pipe cleaner, we're gonna fold it multiple times, right? We're gonna fold it again. Fold it that way. Here we go. It's okay if it's not perfect. To make it stay, we'll do that. Yeah, not bad, huh? Turned out okay. Pretty good. So this is our cross representing the cross that Jesus died on, representing the love that Jesus has for the world. So I want to ask you, how do you see Jesus loving us through the cross? What do you think that means? I want you to think about that and maybe talk to your parents a little bit. Ask them, how do you see Jesus loving us through the cross? And then I want you to take your cross and you can go ahead and put it in your box for today. as an important part of our story. Palm Sunday leads to Jesus dying on a cross. So all of these things go into our box for today. But then on Good Friday, another thing happens. Jesus dies on the cross, and when somebody dies, what do? We usually bury them, or we put them in an urn when they're died, which is like a container. And sometimes we'll bury them in the ground. Sometimes we spread their ashes over a field or in the ocean or whatever brings joy to the family and comfort to the family. But when Jesus dies, his friends, they take him down from the cross and they wrap him in linen cloth. They wrap him in linen cloth. So I want you to take your cloth and you're going to wrap Jesus. And you wrap him all the way up, including his head, right? The whole body. The whole body. And you're going to take Jesus because what his friends did, what Jesus' friends did, is when they took him down from the cross, they wrapped him in linen cloth and they placed his body in a tomb. Now, a tomb isn't quite like a box. A tomb is a kind of a hole in a big rock, right? They break down this hole in the rock and they put Jesus inside the tomb. So we wrapped our Jesus, we placed him in the box and put the lid on it, just like how his friends would have wrapped him in linen cloth and put him in a tomb. And then later, people come along and they try to seal the tomb. But we're going to talk about that more on Sunday. So that's our Good Friday story, and it's a pretty sad story. But there's good news that's coming, and the good news couldn't come without this happening. So this is an important part. Jesus being hung on the cross, taken down by his friends, laid in the tomb, because he was important and special to them, just like we would do for our friends and family. And there's more to come in our story on Saturday. So keep an eye out. We're going to talk about what Saturday means for us. Okay? Bye.